3. Good? Yeah. Let's go. Good. Okay. The Gemara says, are we on? No, it's on. The Gemara says, we had the Mishnah, Monei Adam, a person can count, it orhav, it parpiraotav mepi. He can count his guests and his parpiraot and his portions mepi, verbally. Avalom in ketab, but you can't read a written list. Mai ta'ama, what's the reason? Says the Gemara, Rabbi Amar, Gezerah Shem Yimchok. We're afraid he's going to correct the list. He's going to erase some of what's written there. Rashi, Mai ta'ama avalom in ketab, Gezerah Shem Yimchok min ha'orchim. We're afraid he's going to erase some of the guests from the list. Shir'eh, he'll see, Shelo yechin lahem kol tzorkam. Hey, as he's going through, he says, "Oh my goodness, I have too many people on this list. If I invite them all, right, there's not going to be enough food." V'yitharek shezimen yoter min ha'roi v'yimchok min ha'ketav kedei shelo yikra'em hashamash. So the list function, they used to have his attendant go and invite the people, so he's going to erase them so the attendant doesn't invite them. So you can't read it from the writing. Abaya Amar, different reason. We're afraid he's going to read Shetareh Yotot, plain notes or no common notes, weekday notes.
Menus.
No. Shetareh Yotot. Rashi says, Kol Haneh Shemi Yikra B'Shtareh Yotot Shel Mekach U'Memkar Ka'amad. You can read business papers. Business paper, Memsohav Zechavet Abedavar.
But how do they get it from here? From the menus, he's going to say I have too much food.
Oh, just like you're reading this, he's going to read that. Not because he's going to go and... not because he's going to go and now it's in this one.
Put on the other side.
This one. And not because he's gonna have the from the menu, but if I'm allowed this, he'll come to say I'm allowed that. Tosafot says, "Shtared yoto pirush bekunsha shel mekach u'memkar." Rashi learns it's mekach u'memkar. Tosafot learns it's afil el pirashti afilu igeret tasheluchot lemtzohefetz. Even common letters is considered shtared yoto that you wouldn't be allowed to learn on Shabbat. Well, I read from them on Shabbat.
Is it in the Gemara that it says if it's unreachable or it's a halal?
What?
If the names are unreachable?
It's coming. Oh. Says the Gemara, my benai, what's the difference if I say the reason is Shemi Yimchok or Shemi Yikra B'Shtared Yotot? Ika benayu de katav hakotel umidli. It's written on the wall and it's high up. Leman de amar Shemi Yimchok, that you're going to come to erase lo haishinan because it's out of reach. Leman de amar Shemi Yikra, but according to the opinion, maybe you reach Tared Yotot haishinan. If I read this, I'll come to read that. Rashi, de katav minyanam hakotel biyado. He wrote it. I got more devices than students today, right? The katav minyana, he wrote the number akotel on the wall bidyo with ink. Umidle she'eno magia lesham limchok.
What is this supposed to be?
He doesn't get there. He can't reach it to erase it. So if you say Shem Yimchok, it's not a problem. Tared yotot u'choshesh. Says the Gemara, Ulman de Amar Shema Yimchok, according to the opinion. Manda Amar Shema Yimchok Neichu Shema Yikra. So why doesn't he worry that reading these menus is going to lead you to Shtared Yotot? Vetu the Shema Yimchok Lo Haishinan. Who holds that you don't have even when it's high up? If you hold Shem Yimchok, even if it's high up, you should worry about Shem Yimchok. You should say Lo Plug. V'hatanya we learn Lo Yikra Lo Ranir. You can't read by candlelight. Why? We're afraid Shem Yateh Tanir. The Amar Rabba says Afilu Gavoa Shte Komot. Even if it's 2 stories high, you can't reach it. You're not allowed to read. Afilu Gavoa Shte Mardaot. Filu asara batim ze al gav ze. 10 houses, one on top of the other. Lo yikra, you can't read. So you see, once we say it's asur, we don't put height restrictions. Rashi, afilu gavoa she'enu magia sham latot anir. Asur, the ho'il v'namoch asur. Once they made it asur lo, Kavua nami asur shelo tahlok. You shouldn't differentiate in the law. People will come to abuse it. Says the Gemara. Okay, so that can't. The reason that you can't say that the guy that says shemiyim hok is not hoshesh when it's hayab, because that's not the way we set up gizerot. Ela ike beinayu the katav hakotel umitete. It's written on the wall and it's low. Leman da amar shemiyim hok. If you say maybe he'll erase chayshinan, it's low. He might erase it. Leman da amar shemi yikra lo chayshinan. The one that says I might come to reach Sared Yotot, I'm not afraid. Guda b'shtara lo mechlif. The guy's not going to. If you have a paper, this paper, that paper, it's written on the wall. He's not going to come to reach Sared Yotot. Content is not what's mahlif. It's the fact that I'm reading a mundane paper. Guda b'shtara lo mechlif. Rashi guda kotel. Yeah. No, he didn't say carved out. The katava kotel umitete. Says Gemara, Rumanda Amar Shemi Yikra. The guy that says Shemi Yikra b'shtared yotot, Leichu Shemi Yimchok. If it's low down, why is he not worried Shemi Yimchok? It's a valid reason. Ela Ike Benayu de Hayik. It's engraved, so you really can't erase it. It's very difficult to erase. Atabla ve'apinkas, and doesn't have to be on the wall. It's on a tabla. It's on a clay tablet.
They had tablets.
The man de Amar, that's like the Flintstones version, right? The man de Amar, Shemi Yimchok, Lo Haishinan. They used to have that monkey guy that used to carve in the tablets, right?
At the quarry.
And where? At the quarry. That was like a typewriter or a dictaphone. Man de Amar, Shemi Yimchok Lo Haishinan, because it's not practical. It's not practical. But the man de Amar Shemi Yikra Haishinan Tavla be what's called Bishtara Michlaf. Ulman de Amar Shemi Yimchok Leichu Shemi Yikra. Why don't you wear Shemi Yikra? V'chi Teima Tavla Upinkas Bishtara Lo Michlaf. That it's two different mediums. They're not going to change. The Hatanya we learn Modeh Adam. A person can count Kama bin Bifnim v'Kama bin B'Chutz. How many people are inside and how many people are outside? V'Kama Manot. And how many portions Atid Laniach Lifneim he's planning on feeding them? Miketav Sha'al Gabei HaKotel. From the writing that's on the wall. Avalo Miketav Sha'al Gabei Tabla Upinkas. And not from the writing that's on the Tabla Upinkas. What are we talking about? What's the difference? If it's written, what's the difference? I'm going to erase, he'll erase there. Elalav must be the hayy, that it's engraved. So there's no hashash of erasing. The Katani, and it says, Miketav shal gabei hakotel, you're allowed to read it from the writing that's engraved on the wall. Avalo Miketav shal gabei tavla, but not from the writing that's on a tablet of pinkas. So must be the difference. Tabla pinkas is michlaf b'shtared yotot, and kotel is not. Rashi, kama v'kama bifnim v'kama b'chutz. It's mi oshiv bifnim. Who's sitting in the inside, b'makom ha'mechubad, in the very honorable place. V'dim mi v'mi oshiv b'chutz, she'enan kol kach sifuni. They're not as chashuv. Avalom miktav shal gabei tabla u'pinkas. The Guda b'shtara lo michlaf. The reason why I let you write it on the wall is because they're not going to switch a wall with shtared yotot. Aval tava u'pinkas minkas. So we say, okay, you can't say it's al gabei, it's chakuk on the tabla, because chakuk on the tabla is still michlaf b'shtared yotot. Ela le'olam, let's go back. The katav hakotel, it's written on the wall, umidli, and it's high up. Utkakash lecha, the Rabbah, you have a problem with Rabbah that he says even if it's high up, you have to be choshesh shem yimchok. The Rabbah tanaehi. Rabbah's position is a machloket tanaim. Whether we make a gezerah that even high up, you're not allowed with choshesh shem yateh, or will be choshesh shem yimchok is machloket tanaim. The Tanya. A person can count his guests and his portions from his mouth, but not from writing. Rabbi Aha says, if it's written on the wall, it's okay. Hechidami, where's it written? Ilema dichtav mitita, it's written low. Leichu shemim chok. Let's worry, maybe he's going to erase. Elalav dechativu midle. It must be high up. Shma mina derabah tanaim. It must be high up is mahloket tanaim. Shma mina. So it comes out that everybody's choshesh v'shem yimchok, and everybody's choshesh v'shem yikra b'shtarei edyotot. Everybody's choshesh for everything. The question comes, what? That's a mahloket tanaim. So it comes out basically the mahloket is. So what's a mahloket? Whether I'm choshesh for Rabbah or not. The one that says you can read when it's high up is not choshesh for Rabbah. The one that says you aren't is not choshesh. So what's the mahloket? Rabbi says Gizra Shem Yimchok. Abaye says Gizra Shem Yikra B'Shtarei Edyotot. They both agree. So when he says Gizra Shem Yimchok, he means even if it's high up, I'm Gozer Shem Yimchok like Rabbah. And Abaye says Shem Yikra B'Shtarei Edyotot. So in the case where there's no Hasha Shem Yimchok because it's high up, and there's no Shem Yikra B'Shtarei Edyotot because Guda B'Shtar Lo Michlaf, you're not going to switch a wall with the Shtarei Edyotot. In that case, I'm Mekil. Tosfot says, the Pirush HaKuntris Tzarich Lomar, Tahashta Demuki La, now that they're saying, the Kativ HaKotel, that it's written on the wall, Umidli, and it's high up, Lemanda Amar Shem Yimchok Ika. According to the opinion, Shem Yimchok, maybe you're going to erase the Ika, you have to worry. The Itle de Rabbah, he holds of Rabbah. That's why he's Choshesh, even high up. Lemanda Amar Shem Yikra, the one that says maybe I'll reach Shtarei Edyotot. What he means is there are some cases that I'm not Choshesh Shem Yikra, and that's when it's high up. So we're saying that the real mahloket is b'drabah kapligi. The mahloket is in Rabbah. Ki heichi de pligi amora'eh. The Tanaim argue like the Amoraim argue. Ubraita kamaita. The first braita that said what with the tavla pinkas. Mikuk mashapir the katav michtav hakotel umidli. Oh, where's that one? Miktav shal gabe kotev, lo miktav shal gabe tavla pinkas. Yeah, it's written up and it's high. No problem. The kulu emora'eh gude b'shtara lo miktav. The kasher lepirusho. The pirusha. According to Rashi's pshat, it's difficult. Tahashta lo have pluktayo ke have mukmit la meikara. He changed the whole mahloket. Lemanda amar Hashem yimchok lo hayshina lemanda amar Hashem yikra. In the beginning we thought that one position was exclusive from the other. If you hold Shem yimchok, you don't worry about Shem yikra. Varav Porat Piresh, he says no. You're saying that they're arguing if we go there like Rabbah, that even if it's very high up, you're going to come to either be mateh or to be mohek or not. That's the mahloket. Says if you say like that, you lost. The original mahloket that we had is not there. The original mahloket is what? Is if you hold of Shem Yimchok or Shem Yikra B'Shtarei Edyotot. Now the mahloket is really something else. Am I gozer Shem Yimchok high up or not? So why do we express the mahloket in a backwards way? So he says that Rapora Piresh Abaye v'Rav Bibi Tarvayu Letlu D'Rabbah. They both disagree with Rabbah. They both hold high up Yina Hoshesh. Lemanda Amar, right? The pligi b'chtav hakotel, and they're arguing and it's written high umidli. Lemanda Amar Shem Yimchok lo hayshin, and why? Kivan de midli. It's high up. Velet le D'Rabbah. Well, Shem Yikra Nami lo hayish kasavar guda b'shtar lo michli. You know why he's not worried about Shem Yikra b'shtar edyotot? If you had a paper, he'd be worried about it.
On the wall.
It's up on the wall. Guda b'shtar lo michli. Ulmanda Amar Shem Yikra. He argues and he says no. Even in a wall, I'm hoshesh. Maybe you're going to come to reach Shtarei Edyotot. That's what they're arguing about. Do I have to worry about Shem Yikra b'shtar edyotot from a wall to a shtar?
reading on the wall, so then he's going to start reading onto the paper.
Right, content. I'm reading mundane content. I don't care where it is. The Abaye.
So you can get your mind thinking about mundane things.
So a billboard on a thing would be a problem then, no?
Yeah, it's gonna be. Wait till we finish the sugya. It sounds like a lot of stuff that we do is a problem.
And I was thinking, what's the practical applications of all this? Oh, I know, but I'm saying the
But
list.
Tosfot has an issue with this shot because it comes out of that. Everybody disagrees with Rabbah. The Gemara should have said it. The Kula Alma Lehu de Rabbah.
It seems so like Victorian.
iPad.
So he says, Rav Bibi let the Rabbah. Ve'im yishu mai dakshina and akati lechu shem yikra b'shtar ediotot. No, he holds Guda b'shtar lo machli. Abaye the hayish lahachi. He holds Guda b'shtar ha-michlif. Ulefi pirush zeh, yesh lanu legros ela le'olam de kativ u'midli. It's written and it's high. Ve'efshar shu gores ken. He doesn't like it. Pikach pirshu acharonin dahashta lo atinan ela al piruka. We're only coming to answer the ukimna b'dechaik mecha. Over here, we're not talking where it's written. It's going where it's engraved on the wall high. V'almai deparchinan delechu shema yikra. Uberirna mimadnitin. The lomatzi lememi. You can't say pinkas b'shtara lo michlaf. You can't say that the tablet is not michlaf with a shtar. Va'afilu dehayik mechak, even if it's engraved. So atina lemema hashta was saying dilmanda amar shem yimchok lahachi lo hayshin shem yimchok lahachi lo hayshin shem yikra. Why not? I'm not worried. Maybe you can read. Mishum de pinkas retavla dehayik mechak b'shtara lo machlif. Engraved is not michlif with a shtar. Mishum hamad nitin. That wasn't engraved. That was written on the tabla.
Nobody eats. I forgot the blue. Nobody eats.
I said it before.
I forgot the blue. Don't eat it raw. You fit into a jelly with your eyes.
Either way, the sugya is a little difficult.
Nobody eats it.
Let's review. Ready? Let's go from the beginning. My ta'ama. What's the reason why the Mishnah says? What's the reason why the Mishnah says that you can't read the ktav, the guests and the parperaot from the ktav? Rabbi Bibi Amar Gezerah Shem Yimchok. Rabbi Bibi says we're afraid maybe you're going to erase. Abaye says Gezerah Shem Yikra b'shtar ediotot. We're afraid you're going to read shtar ediotot. If we let you read the menu, you're going to come to read your bills, or according to Tosfot, you're going to come to read personal letters. My benayu. What's the nafkamina? Which reason? Either way, you can't count the menu. You wrote it high up on the wall. And you don't have to worry. Maybe he's going to erase what's written high up on the wall because you can't reach it. According to the opinion, maybe you reach that according to the opinion, maybe you're going to erase. Let's worry. Maybe he's going to read the shtarei yotot. Valid reason. And the guy that says Shem Yikra is not worried. Maybe you're going to erase. Meaning you're not afraid he's going to erase because it's high up. It shouldn't be true. You can't read by candlelight. But Amar Rabbi says afilu gavosh te komot, afilu gavosh te mardaot, afilu asara batim zal gavzel lo yikra, because we say lo plug, we don't differentiate. So that's not working. You can't say the nafkamina because it's high up, and the guy that holds Shemi Yimchok is not going to hold of it, because we hold of Shemi Yimchok even when it's high up. Ela ika v'nayu. The katav hakotel u'metetet. It's written low on the wall. So what's the issue? L'man da'amar Hashem yimchok haishinam. We're afraid. Man da'amar Hashem yikra lo haishinam. The one that says maybe I'm going to read shtared yotot, I don't have to worry. Guda b'shtara lo mechlif. People don't mistake a wall with shtared yotot.
That's a weak argument.
I only let you read what's written on the wall. Ulman da'amar Shemi Yikra, according to the opinion that says you're afraid Shemi Yikra b'shtared yotot. Hare, it's written low, you can erase it. Shemi Yimchok, it should be asu because it's going to be erased. There's no reason not to be hoshesh for that. Ela ika benayu dehayik, it's engraved. Engraving is not easy to erase. We don't assume it's engraved on the wall. Dehayik atavla v'apinkas. It's engraved on the tablet. The mandama Shemi Yimchok lo haishinam. You're not erasing engraving. The mandamar Shemi Yikra haishinam. You have to worry. Maybe you're gonna switch the tablet and come to read your notes. Mandamar Shemi Yimchok. According to the opinion of Shemi Yimchok, leichu Shemi Yikra. Why doesn't he worry? Maybe you're going to switch the tablet for shtared yotot. V'chitayim a tabla pinkas b'shtar olo michlef. He's not going to switch the tabla pinkas for a star. Yeah, because one is written and one is engraved. Atanya moneh adam kama mebifnim v'kama mibachutz kama manot atilan yechlefnim. All your calculations. Miktav shal gabe hakotel avalo miktav shal gabe tabla pinkas. Says clearly, you can read it from a wall and not from the tabla pinkas. What are we talking about? Elaim with the katav michtav, if it's written, ma'ishnacha. Both places where maybe he's going to erase. Elalav, the hayik, it must be it's engraved, so there's no erasure problem. The katani, and it says miktav shal gabe hakotel v'lo miktav shal gabe tabla pinkas. You can only do it from a wall, not from a tablet. So you see clearly that the tablet is michlaf, but guda b'shtara, the wall with the shtar, lo michlaf. Ela le'olam de katav hakotel. Must be it's written on the wall. Umidli, and it's high up. Udkakasha lecha, and this is where you have a problem. The Rabbah, that I'm worried about Rabbah, if it's high up, I might come to erase. The Rabbah Tana'ei. Rabbah is a machloket Tana'im. The Tanya like we know. Moneh adam et orcha v'et parperotav mipiva v'lo min haketav. You can count your portions verbally, but not from a what's it called? But not from a written document. Rabbi Aha matir miktav. Rabbi Aha says you can read it from a written document. Matir miktav shal gabe hakotel. If it's written on the wall. So, and the first Tana holds even on the wall it's asur. Hey chidami, what are we talking about? What is the wall doing for me? Ileima de katav umitete. If you're telling me that it's low, mitata, it's written low. Leichu shemim hok. Everybody should worry. Maybe you can erase. Elalav de katav umidli. It's written high. It's written high. I can't erase it, but maybe I make a little plug. Maybe I don't. The Tanakama says I make a little plug. You can't read it up high. And the Aha says you could read it high because I'm not hoshesh high. I don't make a little plug. I don't say if it's asur low, it's asur high. Rabbi Aha maktir miktav shel kotel. Why? Shmamina the Rabbah Tana'ei. The Tanakama holds like Rabbah. Rabbi Aha doesn't hold like Rabbah. And Abaye and Rav Bibi seemingly arguing the same thing. Rav Bibi says, even when there's no Gezerah Shemi Yikra, which is when it's written on the wall,
There's always the erase.
and it's high up, I still worry Shemi Yimchok. And Abaye says no, when it's high up and there's no physical Shemi Yimchok, I don't worry about it. Mita'am loki. That's the way Rashi went.
So Abaye allows reading by high candle.
Abaye would allow reading by high candle.
Yes.
Yeah. Shmaminad Rabbah Tana'ei. V'hani Tana'eh k'hani Tana'eh. And we have the same machloket somewhere else. The Tanya, we learned, En ro'im b'mar'eh. You're not allowed to look. Careful, every time you move your hand, it blocks the camera. The Tanya, the Tanya, En ro'im b'mar'eh b'Shabbat. You can't look in the mirror on Shabbat. Rabbi Meir matir. Rabbi Meir says you're allowed b'mar'eh kavua b'kotel. If the mirror is on the wall.
What's the problem looking in the mirror?
So Rashi says, En ro'im b'mar'eh. Look at that first word over there. Miruri. Not like mirror, right? Lefi sharo'eh b'mar'eh. Someone looking in the mirror. Eno tzarich elo letaken sa'arot rosho. He's got to fix his hair. Vizkano, and his beard, right? Hilkach, Haishinam, we're afraid, Shema Yir'eni Minam Dudalim. Maybe he'll see some hairs that are at a place, She'en Shavotim Sha'ara Se'ar Vigalehan, and he'll cut him. He'll cut him.
He'll see some gray hair.
No, Chas v'Shalom, you wouldn't do that. He wants to look old and dignified. Rabbi Meir Matib b'marei kavua b'kotel. So the Gemara says, "Ma'ishna kavua b'kotel." What does it mean? What's the difference if it's on the wall? If the guy's going to pull the scissors, if it's on the wall, if it's not on the wall, he's going to pull the scissors. Says Gemara, while he goes to get the scissors. Midkar, he'll remember where. And if he's holding it in, if she'ena kavua nami, till you get the scissors, you'll remember. Says Gemara, we're talking about a metal mirror. It's a shiny piece of metal, and the edge is sharp. So the mirror is a 2-in-1. You look at the mirror and you use it to shave too. The Amar of Nachman Amar Rabba Baravua. Why they say that a metal mirror is asur? Because you'll use it to slice off the hanging hairs that are out of place. So the Tanakama says it's only asur with a mirror that you hand hold, because you can use it to slice off the extra hairs. But the one on the wall is not made for that. Even if it's made of metal, you don't use it for that. And the Tanakama says no. And the Tanakama didn't let. He said no, even though Rabbi Meir allowed it, but the Tanakama says no. Once I'm gozeh the one in your hand, I'm even gozeh the one on the wall. Lo plug. So the same thing over here. One makes the lo plug and one doesn't. Right? One says even 20 feet high and one doesn't. Tana Rabbanan. Before we get to the Tana Rabbanan, let's see the halacha. No, the next one is trouble. This is so far we're still good.
This is not trouble.
No, this is nothing.
Tell the G's. No mirrors.
No, the mirrors is not.
He said guys over here.
Oh, guys too.
Your wife has a metal mirror? Now they started to sell metal mirrors.
Make them. You know those. You know, what do they call them?
Those are glass.
No, but
It's the stand. He's talking about
That's
totally
not
metal,
good.
like
It
a
means
tray,
the
like a
mirrors
tray.
now.
Shiny tray.
It's what? To prove they had beards? Of course they had beards. What do you need a proof for?
Where's yours?
Just look at the photos.
If the mirror was a razor, it couldn't be a scissor. You can't shave with a razor, so it has to be.
Right, so they were just trimming the beards. 100%.
What's the douche? What's that?
Right?
Where's your beard?
He's just proving the social style. Okay.
Where's your beard?
Jimmy wants to know where your beard is, wise guy. Okay. Zimen Orchim. If he invited guests, he has one. It's growing. I see actually. If you come look, you can see. Zimen Orchim. If he invited guests, ve'echin lahem minei megadim, ve'katav bechtav, and he wrote down kama zimen ve'kama megadim echin lahem. Asur lekroto b'Shabbat. You're not allowed to read it on Shabbat. Afilu mu katuv al gabe kotel gavoa harbe mishum gezerah shem yikra b'shtarei diotot. The Hainu Shtarei Chovot veHeshbonot. Sounds like Maran holds like Rashi that Igeret Shalom is not Shtarei Diotot. Aval im Hakak bekotel Hakika Shokaat Mutar. If it's engraved on the wall, it's Mutar. Because Guda b'Shtar Alom Yechlif and Hakika you can't erase. Aval beTavla Pinkas Afilu Hu Hakuk, even if it's engraved Asul Lekroto. Shtarei Hedyotot, Dahainu Shtarei Chovo v'Heshbono v'igarot shel she'elat shalom, asul lekrotav. You're not allowed to read them. Va'afilu le'ayem bahem belo kirya asur. Now, Mishnah Berurah says, right? Shema Yimchok, right?
Now strange with the pit in it or not, right?
So he says, ומה שנוהגים שהשמש קורא מתוך הכתב לסעודה. They used to have the shamash go and invite people from a written list. יש מחמירים. תנהיד לשם ימחוק לכלמי חש. Says the shamash doesn't have the right to erase. Not his list. So Shem Yimchok Lek Lemechash Ela Kishbal Suda Be'atzmo Kore Halo Ikel Migzah Shem Yikra B'Shtarei Diotot Ach Kisha Suda Hi Shel Mitzvah. When the Suda is a mitzvah, Suda mitzvah, Yesh Lahakel Kiri'ah LaShamash. Why? Because it's like Heftzei Shamayim. You let to do Hashem's business. So this is a mitzvah, it's not a problem. Or the list of aliyot is Heftzei Shamayim. Right? Kemosh Katuv Siman Shimvav. That's the Magen Avraham. V'koshke de mutal shamash lachris kruz bebet midrash. He can make an announcement mitoch haktav. Omnam b'sharet teshuvah he quoted a different reason. Even for Zudash Harishu. The ala shamash mi'ikara lo gazru. It's a little bit muchach in Rashi like that. He says the guy's erasing it so that the shamash shouldn't call the guy. But the shamash can't read it either. Right? So he says they never made the gizra on the shamash. Why? Because if the shamash doesn't have the list, you wind up with kamtza ubar kamtza. Right? He called the wrong guy that destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. So we never tell the guy that's making the calls not to read the list.
He's always allowed.
He's always allowed.
It's like the guy with the shofar on the roof.
כדי שלא יטעה ויבוא לידי חורבן ותקלה כעובדה דקמצא ובת קמצא. Okay. שטרי דיוטות is pretty much self-explanatory. Okay. So that's over there in that little Mishnah Berurah you more or less got the whole picture. The shamash is mutar either for tzorich mitzvah, he can't erase either for tzorich mitzvah because they make gazra on him. Seudat mitzvah maybe is mutar. You're allowed to reach tarot for a mitzvah. So in the shul or those kind of things, whatever you could say.
How about the speech from a paper?
The rabbi's speech is a mitzvah.
A book to this game. A book to this.
Also, if you forget it, you'll make mahloket.
No, in the old times they used to.
He might erase.
When they had a drive,
The old pledges are there.
No, they used to go up and read in Arabic 100 lists. Oh, this one in their name, 101, 1,001, 5,001, just because they wanted to get more people to donate.
Of course, they can do that. That's the mitzvah.
Right.
Okay. When the guy's doing the bidding on the holidays, he has a list of last year's numbers.
Of course.
Let's go higher.
Gotta go higher.
Make sure they get the higher.
Okay.
At least sees who paid.
That's also true. Okay. Next. Oh, we want to see about mirrors. We gotta see mirrors. Shin Bet Yud Gimel. En mistaklim b'Shabbat b'mar'eh shel matechet shehi harifa ke'izmel. If it's sharp like a knife. תחיישין אנשמי ישיר בענימים המדודלים ואפילו הוא קבוע בכותל אבל מותר להסתכל במראה שאין בחשש זה אפילו אין הקבועה like a glass mirror like we have.
So let's say you're in front of the fridge, stainless steel.
It's not a hashash.
It's not sharp.
It's not sharp.
It's not a young shaving.
You can't shave with it.
Good luck.
Okay.
It's no item. Sharp mirrors. Perfect for shaving.
Kitav. Tanu Rabbanan. Kitav.
You're getting so many inventions from
Kitav hamehalech tachat hatzura. If you have writing underneath the picture, betachat diyuknaot, and under the pictures, images of people, asul lekroto b'Shabbat. You can't read it on Shabbat. Rashi. Kitav hamehalech tachat hatzura. Kigon bnei adam mitzayrim bakotel hayot mishunot. They make pictures of different unusual animals. They didn't have zoos. Or diyuknaot shel bnei adam, or pictures of people shel ma'asim. Kigon milchemet David v'Goliath. וכותבים תחתיה זו צורת חיה פלונית וזו דיוקנית פלוני ופלוני. This is this person's image. אסור לקרוא אותו בשבת שמי יקרא בשטרי דיוטו. So you can't read the caption.
פרק שירה.
ודיוקנה עצמה and the picture itself אף פחול אסור להסתכל, but you can't even look at during the weekday. So what was the point of putting the picture? משום שנאמר אל תפנו אל האלילים. Don't turn to the idols. My Talmudah, what does it mean? Chawra means don't turn to them to serve them. Amrav Hanin, al tefanu el midatechem. Don't turn to the ones that, Rashi, el asher atem osim midat levavchem. To the ones that you make from your heart. Don't turn to them. Don't look at them. So in Rashi, it's mashma. Elilim lashon halalim. Al tefnu ela elilim. Don't turn to the things that you make from your heart. The pictures. Don't look at pictures.
Anytime.
Yeah. Al tefanu el mida'atchem, to the ones you make mihalal libchem. Tosfot says, Nir'eh Debe'asuya l'shem avodat gilulim amar. It's only talking when it's an idolatrous image. You want to go look at the pictures in the Sistine Chapel, maybe it's a sur. You want to look at church art.
Don't go to a museum in Italy then.
You want to go look, you might as well not go. Don't look at Venus, those Aphrodite, all those things.
The biggest line in Italy is to see the statue of David.
Michelangelo's David.
You know how big is the line over there? Two blocks around.
I mean the statue of David standing there
So
uncircumcised.
according to David, l'chaura bi mutar. It's not idolatry.
He's not even.
He's naked.
He's not even
David,
circumcised.
he's got that fig leaf,
He's
no?
naked. He's not circumcised.
Naked.
No, he's naked.
The statue's naked, yeah.
He's completely buck naked and uncircumcised.
Aval lenoi, but if he's doing it lenoi, mutar. Really, it's mashma that you look closely. Uncircumcised by you looking a little too close, right? Aval lenoi. Mutar, kedemashma mi benan shel kiddushim. The Gemara says they called one of the rabbis benan, it could be Menachem ben something, benan shel kiddushim. Why benan shel kiddushim? The lo yistakel betzurta dezuzah. He didn't look at the pictures on the money. If it's a sur, why is he benan shel kiddushim? Nobody should have been doing it. Ela al korchach. Al korchach, it's not a sur. It's only a sur when it's avodah zarah. Chalvadi has a tshuva about going to the zoo. So one of the questions is, Al tefanu el midatchem. He says, no, it's only talking about avodah zarah. It's only talking about asul avodah zarah.
So when you go to the zoo, you're like amazed.
The chidah. No, because if you go like Rashi, it's talking about pictures of animals. It's almost like the zoo.
It's the opposite when you go to the zoo. You're always praising Hashem for all the crazy.
It's not even three-dimensional.
Writes, he has a journal, he writes how he went to the zoo and thing in Paris. And he went to the museum and he saw amazing things. The Chidah writes about it. Okay. That's one of Chanvadi's proofs. Okay. Mefis Adam in Banav. Person can make a lotto with his children and his Bnei Beto. In Banav and Bnei Beto'in, he can make the lotto with his family. V'maherlo, but not with someone else. My ta'ama, what's the reason? Kid Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. The Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Bnei Habura makpidim zalzeh. If you have a group of people that are makpid on each other, you get this much, I get this much, make sure all the portions are always equal, right? We went out to eat, and we bought French fries. I got 72 French fries, and you got 73. Right? So if you do that on Yom Tov, Ovrim Mishum Midah Mishum Mishkal, they're going to wind up weighing, they're going to wind up measuring, Umishum Lavin, Umishum Mishkal, Umishum Inyan, counting and all types of that. Umishum Lavin Uporin. And they're going to be lending and borrowing. Because if I take extra, I owe you back next time. Be Yom Tov. That we mentioned yesterday that says if I borrow food for food, it's a hashash of ribit if the price goes up. Av mishum ribit. So when I'm doing with other people, since we're not from eating from the same pocket, so I take this, you take that. I'm giving a big piece, a small piece. I'm doing it with them. It's going to wind up being this bnei habura makpidim. It's a suit to do it on Yom Tov. It should be a sur even with my family. Why? Let's worry about the ribit because we hold like a little. Gemara, Hainu Ta'ama, Kid Rav Yehuda Amarav, the Amar of Yehuda Amarav, Mutar la'alvot banav u'bnei beto b'ribit. You're allowed to lend to your sons and your family money b'ribit. Kedei lahat'imam ta'am ribit. In order they should taste how bad it is to have to pay interest. If you're telling me that we're being mekel to the family, in order they should taste, Mane gedola keneged mane ketana nami. You should be able to make a lotto with a big portion against a small portion. Says the Gemara, ein achinami. You're right. Bechsura mechzer avachi katani. Mefis adam in banav b'den beto. You can make the lotto with your family. Ala shulchan on the table. Afilu mane gedola keneged mane ketana. Big for small. My ta'ama. What's the reason? Kedrav Yehuda Amarav, who says, look at me. Lahat iman ta'am rebit sheyedu kamakasha al ma yisri. So how what? They're allowing an isur to do oraita. We're allowing rebit can't be. Al ma kivan de mishelohu, since it's all his money anyway. En kan isur rebit. There's no rebit. The father's money. He's lending them. They're paying back. The money comes from one pocket, goes to the other pocket. Right? It's not a real kepedah. It's not theirs. I don't want them to be jealous. But anyway, there's no lavinu por'im by your family. They didn't pay for the food. This is mine. What, you paid for it? You didn't pay for it. I paid for it. How did it become yours? So there's no problem of lavinu, porim, or ribit. So why am I making equal pieces? Below kena. Says Gemara, ihachi maneged la keneged maneged tana nami. The mukmina ta'amal lekaman mishum kubya. Why do we say it's asur on a weekday? Why do we say it's asur? It's because it's like gambling. Va'afilu b'chol asur. Lekivan da kol mishelo. But if it's all mine, amay asulat iman ta'am lahat iman ta'ama kubya be'amahu. Amay asud lahat iman ta'am kubya be'amahu. I just want them to taste how lousy it feels when you lose when you're gambling. You're right. So you could do for everybody. Mefis adam in banaf iman may tamak Rabbi Raymond Haber. Just like he let you do it to give them the ta'am of ribit, he give them ta'am to do ta'am kubya. In banav, gambling, dice. In banav and bene beto in kubya is like kubiyot. In banav and bene beto in you can do with your family mahirim do. My ta'ama, why can you do with others? Kedrav Yehuda Amashmur, because of ribit. No, because even the makbidim, since they're makbid, so they wind up measuring and lending and borrowing and all that. Mane gedola keneged mane ketana, af bechol le'achirim asur. To make a lotto big against small, you can't do even with others during the year. My ta'ama mishum kubya, because it's like gambling. Rashi, the gezelhu, the asmachta lo kanya. Because when you put money, assuming you're going to win, it's not a kinyan. The person, the hasmachta. Over here, you're putting. You think you're going to win. The samich ala goral. He thinks, the goral will come to me. Yipola goral amanegedola eskeba. He's hoping he's winning. Ulefikach talatzmo. Therefore, he put himself after goral ketana to be willing to take the small portion ala safek. If he would know, he would get the smaller portion. He wouldn't agree.
That's a lot of ticket machloket.
That's a lot of ticket machloket. We all the smachta lo kanya. Rabbi Aluf is in the Tishu B'Av Kamavadia. He quotes Rabbi Aluf. Kamavadia in Chelek Zayin has long truth about the pies in Israel. And in the middle of the rice says, man, Ma'izidi, Chacham Shimon Aluf, and he quotes a long people. So that's the halakha over here. So, but definitely comes out that you're not allowed to.
What's the difference if Israel or it's,
What?
What if it's Galut or Israel? What's the difference?
Could be there's not a difference. Could be there is. So Maran quotes this halakha, the first one. Bnei Habura makpidim.
Having coffee, you have to have that.
The problem is, if you have properly, why can't you have
No, it doesn't quote it. They left it out for some reason.
Anyway, after that, you go smoke, no?
Shin Chaf Bet.
You go outside. Once you go outside, you have to make another.
He starts to do bracha. He takes the coffee inside. He takes the coffee outside. Now it's
המחלק לבני ביתו מנות. If somebody is giving his family portions בשבת, יכול להטיל גורל. למי שיוצא גורל פלוני יהיה חלק פלוני. והוא שיהיו החלקים שווים. No, the portions have to be equal. From the way we learned the Gemara, it sounded like the portions could be different sizes. ואינו עושה אלא כדי להשוותם שלא להטיל קנאה ביניהם. אבל המחירים אסור. כיוון שמקפידים זה על זה, since they מקפיד on each other, יעבור לידי מידה ומשקל. They'll come to weigh. אבל ליתן מתנה גדולה כנגד מנה קטנה ולהטיל גורל עליהם, אפילו בני ביתו, even your family, is asur. Ubahol, and even on the weekday asur, mishum kubya. Yesh omrim, and some say, dem banav ubnei beto mutar latil goral afilu al maneh gedola keneged mana ketana mepnei she'en makpidim. So they have a different. They must have a different.
Is it still mishum kubya if it's not? If you're doing it for the kids, it's not their money. Like they didn't lose anything.
That's why he says clearly it's for the kids.
No, so
It's still for the kids, and he's still saying it's asur.
but they're not losing anything.
Wow.
They're not going to be over here. Rashi says makpid that he might lose something. Makpid and asmachta by the pies, by the.
So the Reef doesn't quote the rest of the sugya. See, the Ran quotes the whole thing. V'lo nitparesh yafeh b'halachot. Wasn't explained well in the halachot. Maybe.
Like the Pasim.
Maybe. Why is Maran not? Why is the Reef? The Ran understands the Reef exactly like the Gemara.
Whatever difference she taught you will go to. The main question is when you read this Gemara, you don't know what area is the yard is, you have a question. What happens to the
Does it quote the whole story?
The idea is that even though you just shul, if you have the yard, you can read the item fully.
Okay. We have to see later. The Gemara continues. Matilim halashim ala kodashim. You could put halashim for the kodashim, but not for manot. For the kodashim of today, you're allowed to make laro, but not for the manot. Amar bi'Yaakov beret debat Yaakov, avalo ala manot shel hol. You can't auction off tomorrow's manot b'Yom Tov on Yom Tov. Sheet, of course, it's preparing for tomorrow. Mao de tema, I might say, ho'il dechtiv, because it says ve'amech kimri ve'kohen, and your people are fighters like kohanim. So you see the kohanim are a cantankerous bunch. Kohanim elu shehem ba'alei meriva, afilu amanot tehol nami, because this way they'll avoid some fighting. Kamash malan, that we don't allow. V'amar bi'Yaakov b'rei debat Yaakov. We're going to bring his statements here. Kol shehavero ne'ena shal yado, whoever, because of his kipeda, because of whatever, the fact that he's makpid, causes his friend to be punished, and machnisim oto b'mchitzato shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he won't be allowed in Hashem's chambers. Minalan, where do we know this from? Ilema, if you're going to say mishum dechtiv vayomer Hashem mi yefateh et Ahav, who's going to go seduce Ahav? That's when the Navi is telling Ahav why all the Navi Sheker are saying that he's going to be matzliach in Amot Gilad, and he's telling him you're going to get killed. He says because mi yefateh et Ahav ya'al v'yipol beramot Gilad vayomer zeh beko v'zeh beko. This one said this way, this one said that way. Amar. Vayetze haruach, the wind came. Vayamod lefnei Hashem. Vayomer ani afatenu. I'm gonna, what's it called? I'm gonna tell him to go. I'm gonna convince him to go. Vayomer etze vayiti ruach sheker befi kol neviyah. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be a spirit of falsehood in all his prophets. Vayomer tefateh, seduce him. V'gam tuchal, you'll be able to. Seva asekin, go and do it. What does it say? Seva asekin. V'amrina, my ruach, who's the ruach? Amr Yohanan zirucho shel Navot, that's the spirit of Navot, who was killed by Ahav. Right, so he had a reason to do it. So you see, he was punishing Ahav because of his sin. Who might say, Amarav tzimim hitzati, you could go, but you can't come back. Tzimim hitzati. So you see, because Navotu Erik Pedana Ahav for killing him caused him to be punished, he won't be allowed in Hashem's mechitzah. It's not because he was what's it called? Not because he caused him to get punished, but because he spoke falsehood. And the pasuk says, "Dover shikarim lo yikon leneged enai." One who speaks false can't be in my mechitzah. El mehacha. Savata kalon mikavod shete gam ata vehe'arel. What's that? Savata kalon mikavod ze Nebuchadnezzar. Rashi. Savata kalon ben Nebuchadnezzar mishta'eh. Shaya matil mishkav zachur ala melachim. He used to cause, every day, one of the kings that was subservient to him had to submit to him for mishkav zachur. Right? Ukshehigia yomo shel Tzidkiyahu, when Hashem protected Tzidkiyahu, when his day came, nimshecha orlato gimel me'ot amah. Nebuchadnezzar's orla became elongated, and he wasn't able to perform with it. Right? Savata kalon mikavod ze Nebuchadnezzar. Shete gam ata ve'ha'arel ze Tzidkiyahu. Well, so Tzidkiyahu is also compared to the Arel. Hada is not true. The Kula Kra ben Nebuchadnezzar Keti. The whole pasuk is talking about Nebuchadnezzar. Shapir matzid lukme Kula ben Nebuchadnezzar. Shete gam ata. You're also going to drink shotam shayita makle otam, just like you embarrassed everybody by using them for mishkav zachar. Now you got the ha'arel, get embarrassed by your orla that got extended. So that's not quite. For odd, Tzidkiyahu tzadika mayhavel me'ibadle. What? I didn't do anything. He got punished because he wanted to rape me. This is my fault. The Amar view, the Amarav. בשעה שביקש אותו רשע לעשות לאותו צדיק כך וכולי, that's that גמרא. לקמנו, מי דקאמר לאותו צדיק, שמע מן האנוסו, אלא מדהכה. From this pasuk. גם ענוש לצדיק לא טוב. Punishment for a tzaddik is not good. אין לא טוב אלא רע. So if it's לא טוב, it really means רע. Anush la tzaddik is ra. For the tzaddik to cause someone to get punished is ra. Nichtiv, and it says, Ki lo el havetz resha'ata lo yigurecha ra. You're not a God that wants wickedness. Lo yigur, if they won't dwell with you evil. Tzaddik ata Hashem. Hashem, you're a tzaddik. V'lo yagur b'megurecha ra. And your dwelling place, one that's called ra, won't be. So therefore, anush la tzaddik, a tzaddik that causes onashim is ra, and therefore lo yagur v'mumugurecha ra. My mashma the hay halashim lashon de purahu. Where do you see the halashim means a lot of? Dechtiv, ech nafalta mishamayim. How did you fall from heaven? Hillel ben Shahar, nigdata la'aretz. You fell on the ground, or you were trampled to the ground. Cholesh al goyim, the one that used to cholesh al goyim. What's cholesh al goyim? Amar Rabba bar Ravuna melamed shaya matil pur al gedolei malchut. Hillel ben Shahar refers to Nebuchadnezzar Rasha. Right? So he would put a pur, he would make a lotto al gedolei malchut beda eze ben yomo shel mishkav zachar. Steve, kol malchei goyim kulam. What's that pasuk? שאו מתחת רוג זלח לקראת בואך עורר לך רפאים כל עתוד הארץ הקים מכסאם כל מלכי גויים כולם יענו ויאמרו אליך גם אתה חולת כמונו אלינו נמשלת. They'll all say, you're like us. All the kings. Why? Because he was a king and they were kings, and now he's going to suffer like them.
This guy's real sick, huh?
Right? But yeah.
I would say he'd be. What is it? Huh?
What? Nebuchadnezzar? Why, you surprised?
I'm not familiar with this. I'm just.
So the next pasuk in pasuk Zayin it says Naha shaketa kol aretz patzechurina, and they say what was Naha shaketa kol aretz patzechurina michlal de adhashta. What's Naha? The Amar B'Yohanan shenahu mi mishkav zachar. They rested from the mishkav zachar that Nebuchadnezzar used to give to them. He used to force on them. The Amar B'Yohanan Kol Yamav Shelo Torah Shah. The whole time that Nebuchadnezzar was alive, Lo Nimtzat Sechok Befei Kol Birya. Nobody left. Shneimar Naha Shaketa Kol Aretz B'Tzhurim Nah. They came out with the Rina, which is like this Chok. Miklal Da'ad Hashta Lo Haverina. The Amar B'Yitzchak Amar B'Yohanan Asur La'amod Bebeto Shelo Torah Shah. Even now you can't stand in his house. Shneimar Us'irim Yirkedu Shama. Se'irim is either goats or shedim. V'lo anashim. Ubishvil abriot mistalkim mazikim. He's saying like this. Se'irim is referring to the mazikim. If people come, the mazikim leave. But Hashem gave it to the mazikim. V'amar v'yuda amarav. V'sha'ah shebikesh oto rasha. La'asod lo'oto tzadik kach. When he wanted to do that. Nimshecha orlato 300 amah. His orla wasn't long enough. 300 amah is probably a guzma, but it was unworkable. Vayta mehazeret al kol hamesiba kula. All the kings shayu mesubim v'yoshvim lefanav. I guess it passed them. Shneimar savata kalon mikabod shete gam ata v'ha'arel. So why do we say 300? Arel b'gmatria 300 hava. V'amar v'yuda amarav b'sha'ah sheyarad oto rasha legehinam. When he got to Gehinam, ra'ashu kol yordei Gehinam. Everybody got nervous. Amru, they said, Shema l'mshol alehem uba. He's coming to Gehinam also to rule them. O lehalot kemotam. Or is he coming to get sick like them? Shene'emar gamata huleta kamonu elenu nimshalta. You also got sick like us? You compared to, or are you elenu nimshalta? Are you going to be moshel on us? Yatzta bat kol ve'amra mimi na'amta reda vehoshkeva et arelim ech shavat noge shaveta madheva na'amta savur ata liyot benoam. You think you can have a preferential treatment? Amar v'yuda amarav Shavta umazu ech shavat noges shavta umazu she'amra madod vehave, measure and bring gold for us. That nation stopped. So at that point, when he died, they lost their power to force people to pay tribute to them. Shavat umah Mimina amta redavesh kivat arelim. Rest with the arelim. Ech shavat nogesh shavta mateva. Maybe it's a new drasha. Amar, is that the next pasuk? It's a different place. Nasata ma'melch bavel. Ech shavat nogesh shavta mateva. Saying that eventually they're going to lose their ability to collect tribute. Madheva. What's madheva? It's an unusual word. So they're explaining medod vehave. Measure and bring us tribute. V'ika da'amri, others say, she'amra madheva me'od hevi below midah. Just keep bringing. They
could never be satiated.
Right, they were taking a tremendous amount. Below midah, urvu yetera hosafli. It's another pasuk about Nebuchadnezzar. Ve'ezimna manda'i yetuv alay, v'likar malchuti hadri, v'zvi yetuv alay, v'li hadberi, v'rav revane yiv'un, v'al malchuti yotkenat urvu yetera hosfatli. Because in Nebuchadnezzar there was a time that it was decreed on him to go 7 years. He had to run with the animals. He was transformed into an animal and he lived with the animals. And then he was brought back. So he said, Urvu yetera hosfatli, you gave me more honor. Amar vidamarav, melamed sherachav ala ari zachar. He was able to ride on the male lion. The kashar tanin berosho. And he tied a tanin, that is a snake, to his head. לקיים מה שנאמר, וגם את חיית השדה נתת לו לעובדו. You even gave him the animals to be subservient to him. ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ואמן.
He was Tarzan.
Oh, I definitely never did this.
Right on the animals?
The whole